Hello, 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 my internet fans. Welcome to week 12 edition of Stat Boy Sports Bar. I, of course, am the host and proprietor of Stat Boy Sports Bar, me, Stat Boy Mike Caldwell. Over here in the production room, you are seeing my brother from another mother, Renegade JJ Williams. Normally, you'd be seeing the good old JM, but unfortunately, he's not feeling too good today, so JJ's going to step up and help run the show. So we apologize in advance, but hey, people get sick. It happens. He's human. So we're just going to, it's more than likely it's going to be me talking. No major graphics or anything like that. We're going to do the best with what we got. Jeff, get better soon. And if you're going to stay sick, that's okay too.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate, it's going to be very bare bones because I kind of got asked last minute to fill in and do this, so I don't have a whole lot of stuff within the studio loaded in as far as graphics go. So Stat Boy is just going to try to carry it through as entertaining as possible. We do have a graphic for the shout out. We've got a couple commercial clips loaded in that we'll throw to in between segments, but otherwise it's just going to be talking heads tonight.
It's just me. So we got some news to talk about. We'll do the rankings in hockey and in football. We'll do the results. We'll do a little bit of the playoff picture. And then we'll shout it out, and we'll be out of here before you know it. So don't worry. Like I said, Jeff, get better. It's probably just a good old-fashioned cold or what it is. He said he was doped up on cold medicine. And like I say, he'll be back and stronger than next week. All right, let's get to the news. We're going to continue the story with Aaron Rodgers. And he came back, of course, after COVID protocol. And in his matchup, and thanks to it being on Fox, Joe Buck, of course, was providing commentary. And one of the sideline reporters reported that Aaron Rodgers is playing with a broken toe. He fractured a toe during quarantine. So, of course, the media wants to make a thing out of this. Now, if you've got a broken toe, hey, you got a broken toe. Okay, I've got a messed up toe, but I'm not going to make a big thing about it. But the media wants to know every little detail. Which toe is broken? How did it happen? And whatnot. So Rodgers, of course, said that he is doing some kind of treatment where they injected his toe, and he's not going to get it fixed. It's not going to do surgery. He's not going to put his foot in the cast. He's going to tough it out and play through it, which, of course, might not be the smartest thing in the world. I mean, let's face it, you need your toes in life to do things. Well, Joe Buck decided to make a joke saying that Aaron Rodgers' toe has been immunized. Really, Joe Buck? Come on. That's just beating a dead horse, okay? I mean, we get it and whatnot and everything, and that was my notification. I should have turned that off. I'm sorry. But, I mean, the NFL's putting a story up there on their social media that Joe Buck is trolling Aaron Rodgers. He's lightening the mood of a previous story, okay? I mean, I could tell the story of what I did at the foot doctor the other 2 weeks ago. I had a needle put in my foot, and it wasn't darn too pretty. In fact, I was screaming like a girl. I'll admit it. But, I mean, to make fun of Aaron Rodgers.
When you broke your arm, so I can only imagine.
Yeah. Well, I didn't really scream that much when I broke my arm. I was more in shock than anything else. I really didn't. In fact, I didn't scream in the ER. I fell asleep, and you had to try to wake me up. I love that story, by the way. So Joe Buck is just poking fun at a situation. Let's not think that Joe Buck has to go out there and throw out an apology or anything, because if that happens, then apparently Aaron Rodgers can't take a joke, okay? And in this day and age, with people joking on everybody and getting all unserious and whatnot, I mean, come on. It was just a joke. It's just a story that we had to share because when I'm doing my research and stories pop up, we couldn't pass this one up, folks. Let's talk about Aaron Rodgers and his foot problems.
At the end of the day, if it's just a toe, I can understand not wanting to get surgery or anything done on it at this point, because then you're out of action for the rest of the season, probably. At least a good couple weeks, which, right now we're getting into the nitty gritty with NFL, starting to get towards that push to the playoffs and the Super Bowl.
Right.
So it's just a toe. He can always tape it up, get through the rest of the season. If they make it to the playoffs, the Super Bowl, if they don't, whatever, and then get the surgery needed in the off season.
There you go. Problem solved. You've got 10 of them. And we have Timothy Phillips Jr. saying, greeting, guys. Hope everybody gets to watch Duke and Ohio State. Big matchup coming up this weekend. Duke and Ohio State. That sounds like a pretty good matchup. I do like the Duke Blue Devils. I like them more in basketball, though, than I do in football. Of course, there's the big college hype. We're getting ready for bowl season, and you never know. If you remember, he deserves to be. Oh, Pop is saying he deserves to be trolled. Rogers is still the one trying to apologize for his lying. Wow, Pop is shooting on Rogers.
Shots fired.
You don't mess with Pop, and whatever Pop says goes. I love it, Pop.
That boy approved.
That boy approved when it comes to Pop. Anyway, going back on with Duke, and it was always Duke basketball. I never really followed Duke football, but who knows what's going to happen with the bowl games? And of course, tradition was in our household back in the day, we would take every bowl game known to man. The Long Beach Press Telegram would always have this full-page article on every bowl game, ending with whichever one was for the BCS title. And Pop and Renegade and I, we'd all make our picks. And I think the winner, like, we had to buy dinner for the other two. I think that was one of the rules and all that. So we'll see where all of the college games end up. We'll touch on it, especially around January 1, because that's when all the big games take place. Where's Tennessee going to end up? Alabama is big out here. Georgia's big out here. And, of course, when we talk college football, I totally skipped on the USC-UCLA game. Oh, man. What a embarrassing moment in my life, because USC and UCLA are deep in my family and the circle of family. Of course, Renegade's family is USC and UCLA, so who do you pick?
It's always tricky on that one. It's my mom, my dad, my stepdad have always been Trojans. My daughter and her mom have always been Bruins.
Yep.
So it's very much a house divided, just like we always had Kings and Ducks in our house. We had the Trojans and the Bruins.
See, I was raised on the Trojans. It was all of California, or all of Southern California anyway. The Cardinal and Gold, Tommy Trojan, all that, the marching band, the Rose Bowl, Pasadena, all that. But of course, it is basketball in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. Thank you for that, Timothy. Thank you. There goes Pop saying fight on. There you go. But of course, when I went to high school, it was no better. My high school mascot is the Bruin. My high school colors are Cardinal and Gold.
Yeah, so you come from a very confused high school. It's like you couldn't figure out what you wanted to be.
Nope. All I knew is we wanted to be Poly every year, and we never did.
So did we in Lakewood.
Yeah. What were Lakewood's colors?
That's why I got the red Stat Boy shirt, was because of your colors at Wilson.
And I'm doing purple because of you. There you go. So there it is.
See, there we go.
So, and of course, UCLA won by 30 points this season, which makes all the UCSC fans ticked off. But they were just scoring touchdowns like it was nothing. I'm like, and then I see them. It happened.
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about scoring touchdowns like it was nothing. What about that Buffalo-New Orleans game on Thanksgiving?
What a shocker that was. That was the game that I gave up on. So Thanksgiving here at the house, we got up. I got downstairs. Dory started cooking a beautiful dinner, by the way. It was delicious. We had a great Thanksgiving. About the second quarter of the Detroit game, I come down and I'm watching. I'm like, holy cow, Detroit's actually winning this game. Got through halftime, got through the second half. Detroit falls apart. And they ended up losing, of course, in the first game. And then it was time for the Dallas game, which I actually passed out on, and I didn't wake up until the third quarter. Next thing you know, it's going back and forth, back and forth.
Mikey had tinnitus.
Yep. I hadn't even eaten yet. We didn't eat until after we started eating around the fourth quarter of the Dallas game.
Oh,
So
wow.
something knocked me out. I don't know what it was. Oh, I know what it was. It was the cough medicine I was taking because of my allergies. That knocked me out. And by the time we were done eating and we looked at the score on the New Orleans game, we were done at that point. So that's what happened during Thanksgiving. Let me bring up the. Go
It's
ahead.
funny because I was kind of monitoring the Thanksgiving scores, trying to see if I could get like an early jump on the week. And I was like, okay, the Bears beat the Lions. Woohoo, I'm up 1. It was like the second game, Dallas goes to overtime. Okay, there's hope. Oh.
It was a good game.
And then I picked New Orleans because looking at them, New Orleans was 5-5. The Bills were 6-4. It looked to me like it could really go either way. So I went with the underdog in that one. And then for them to only score a field goal and get 3 points in the entire game, they lost what? It was like 31-3. Like, that's just horrible.
31-6. Yeah. I'm bringing up the scores now. We'll rattle off the scores quickly here. So the Bears started off and they won 16-14 with the game-winning field goal as time expired by Santos. That gave the Bears their fourth win. Yeah, it was a close game.
Just what you'd want on Thanksgiving. You want that drama as the family is gathered around the TV waiting for the goodies to cook, Yep,
absolutely. But unfortunately, no Thanksgiving miracle for the Lions. And, of course, the Raiders beat the Cowboys 36-33 in overtime.
Again, another close game. They had to go to OT, just what you would want on a Thanksgiving day. Yeah. And then the next game is just like, did New Orleans even show up? I'm curious. Or was it just holograms of the Saints on the field?
31-6 final score. Buffalo beats the Saints. Here's something I did not like. The Superdome in New Orleans is no longer the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. It's now the Caesars Superdome.
Pizza.
Exact. Well, no, not that pizza. As in Roman Caesar.
Oh, okay.
It's actually got like Caesar's Palace.
Got it.
What's wrong with Mercedes-Benz? Is that not good enough anymore?
Not if they're losing by that much. I mean, if I was Mercedes-Benz, I don't know if I'd want to be sponsoring a team that was getting their butts whooped that badly.
Good point. The Buccaneers are back in their winning ways. They beat the Colts 38-31. Tom Brady has a 9-0 record over the Colts since 2010, including the playoffs. Their push to the playoffs is getting stronger with each week. The Jets actually won a game. They beat the Texans 21-14. That's their first win against Houston since week 11 of 2010. They've lost 3 straight to the Texans, but now the Jets are starting to do that late season win again. So good for them. The Giants beat the Eagles 13-7. Not much in that division, let's face it. Whenever you say Giants around a Cowboys fan, the Cowboys were happy that the Giants lost, that the Eagles lost anyway. But when the Giants win, it hurts even more. 13-7, not so bad. Low-scoring game in that one. The Dolphins ended up beating the Panthers 33-10. Tua Tagovailoa has the highest comp percentage in a game against Miami with at least 30 passes, 87.1. Good job for him. And, of course, now both teams are 5-7. The Patriots beat the hometown, or the residential town, as I like to call them, the Titans, 36-13. Both teams have an 8-4 record as of now. New England has outscored their opponents 135 points to 33 over the last 3 home games. Don't sleep on the Patriots. Do not sleep on the Patriots. They are a strong team. They're getting that push. The Bengals took on the Steelers, beat them 41-10. Ben Roethlisberger has lost 3 straight starts for the first time in his career against Cincinnati. There you go, Pop. Love seeing both Texas teams lose. Oh, Pop! Oh, come on! You can hate on the Texans, but don't hate on the Cowboys. Come on.
Pop always was against the Texas teams.
Don't mess with half of Texas. Leave Dallas alone. Love you, Pop, but we're disagreeing on that one. Atlanta took up on the. We're loving all the comments. Oh, there's Jeff. Jeff isn't here in spirit. Yay, we have good old JM. The Atlanta Falcons took on the Jacksonville Jaguars, beat them 21-14. But let's face it, who else hasn't beaten the Jaguars this season? Only 2 teams have. They are 2-9 right now. Matt Ryan has an undefeated career record, 4-0 against Jacksonville. The Broncos took on the Chargers, beat them 28-13. They are both 6-5 currently. Green Bay, this was the game, of course, that we talked about in the news segment, beat the Rams 36-28. Rodgers has a 4-0 career record at home against the Raiders. Don't stick your tongue out at me, Pop. Come on. Including the playoffs. Another big matchup. The Vikings took on the 49ers. 34-26 was the final. San Francisco wins that one. That game has knocked Minnesota out of the playoff hunt. We'll get to that in a second. But don't worry.
Lori's mad about that.
Lori was not, in fact, she punched me over it.
Oh.
We were coming home. We have a tram system, a very small tram system at Dollywood that takes us from the top of our parking lot to our entry gate. And we were coming up, and she's like, I wonder what happened in the Vikings game. I'm like, don't look at the score. They lost. Next thing you know, I'm getting a punch in my arm. I'm like, oh! It took me so much not to call her names in front of all the other workers that were leaving that day. But no, she was not happy that the 49ers beat the Vikings 34-26. Her son's team, however, the Baltimore Ravens, they took on the Cleveland Browns, beat them 16-10. Lamar Jackson is the first starting quarterback to win a game with 4 interceptions since Andy Dalton in Week 17 in 2013. The Baltimore Ravens are currently the number 1 in their conference. They are 8-3. And yesterday's game, surprisingly, the Washington football team, they beat the Seahawks 17-15. Russell Wilson has lost 4 straight starts for the first time in his career. That game has pushed Washington into the playoff picture. Let's talk about the playoff picture quickly right now. Let me bring up my notes on that. It's in my email address because I didn't write it down, and I should write this down all the time. So, the current playoff picture in the NFC. The Cardinals are the number 1 seed, followed by the Packers, the Buccaneers, and the Cowboys. The 3 wild cards are the Rams, the 49ers, and the Washington football team. So, how does this affect Dallas and Washington? To keep Dallas in where they are, I kind of did like a road to the playoffs. Their schedule is as follows. Pay attention. This week, they play the Saints in New Orleans. The next week, they play the football team in Washington. Week 15, they play the Giants in New York. They come back home week 16 against Washington again. Week 17, they play the Cardinals at AT&T Stadium, and they finish the season against Philadelphia in Philadelphia. I have them potentially clinching a playoff spot by week 16. There are 6 games left. If they win 4 of them, that's enough to where Washington cannot catch them. Dallas will finish the season 11-6. I have Washington finishing the season at 10-7. Therefore, Dallas will be locked in. They'll have the division and whatnot. Anything can happen in football. Teams can go south real quick.
Yep.
Now, to get in the AFC, the playoff picture, of course, the Ravens have the number 1 seed, followed by the Patriots. Again, don't sleep on the Patriots because they're up there. The hometown Titans, residential, the Chiefs, the Bengals, the Bills, and the Chargers. They are all in the AFC. I haven't done anything on the AFC left yet as far as potential things like that. So what needs to happen to get the Vikings back in the playoff picture and get my roommate to be happy? Here's what's supposed to happen. Mainly, Washington plays Vegas. The Vikings play the Lions. Vikings playing the Lions, come on. The Lions have sucked all season. So if the Vikings cannot win this matchup, there is something wrong in football. It's almost, the old people say this is a gimme game. Sorry about that. It's a gimme game, okay? They're 0-10, and of course, the Minnesota's been playing the way they've been playing. So let's say the Vikings win. Washington has to lose to the Raiders. If that happens, the Vikings get to come right back into the playoff picture. They'll be the number 7 seed. And if the playoffs started next week, they have to go up against the Packers, which, if you remember, I believe the Packers did lose to the Vikings this season. Then, of course, next week, in week 14, the Vikings have to play the Steelers. They could actually move up one spot and move into the 6th position based on everything else. And then they would have to go up against the Buccaneers if the playoffs ended that way. So they have a bit of a thing. There's a great program on NFL.com. They've called their playoff machine. Basically, you can go in and you can make your own predictions and make your own playoff pictures as to how you think each game will go and how it will affect the playoffs. So that's pretty much something that hopefully we can put in on the show, where we can just go in and go, hey, this team wins here, this team wins here, and before you know it, the playoffs are set and they're here and done. All right. Before we go into the playoff rankings, there you go. Pop, thank you. Dory will love that when she sees that, saying skull. Before we go into the rankings and the pick'em contest, let's take a quick break. Do we have a break set up there, Renegade?
Yeah, I got something I can throw to here real quick.
All right, let's take a look
at what's coming up in December right here on the Jeff Meacham Network. Now, just to point out there in that ad, because it's an out-of-date one, the one-on-one interview with Sarah is actually going to be tomorrow, and the Greg Cherry Show, due to circumstances beyond Jeff's control, is being moved to Friday for this week. So the interview that was supposed to air on Friday, December 3rd, is going to be Wednesday, with the Greg Cherry Show being on Friday instead.
I'm a little curious on how this open mic night is going to go. Jeff, if you are watching, can you give a quick comment on that? Is it basically you're just going to turn on the camera and whoever can come in and basically they can say whatever they want? Is that how it's going to work?
From what I understand from Jeff, and he can either give more information if he chimes in the comments or whatever, or tomorrow when he comes on the air. But for the way I understand it, it'll be Jeff, along with these two gentlemen pictured, Noah Foster, and I forget the other gentleman. Forgive me. The three of them will be basically hosting it, and Jeff will each evening throw the link out there on social media. And yeah, anybody that has something that they want to come on the air and talk about, open forum, open discussion. It doesn't have to be about any specific topic, as long as it's not something that'll get them thrown off the air from YouTube or Facebook or whatever. But anybody can come on and have a conversation about it. As a matter of fact, when we filmed our show about the Billboard songs, one of the 5 dads, not always on wrestlings, that are going to be airing this month, the Billboard 100 Greatest Holiday Songs. When we filmed that, I issued a statement on that one. If anybody wanted to debate me on my feelings of a few of the songs, feel free to meet me in the open mic night and we can debate it. So there's already that could potentially happen on December 20th or the 19th. One of those days. I forget which day the open mic night is going to be. I believe it's Saturdays. But there's already an opening there for anybody that wants to debate me on those.
Sounds like a great idea. I mean, a lot of bars and a lot of clubs, of course, they have open mic nights, and you can just go up and sing a song or make people laugh or whatever, and why not do it virtually and see who shows up and who says what? I
Maybe Scat Boy should come on the air with his guitar and play us a Christmas song.
I don't think that's going to happen, because I'm not going to be able to. I didn't bring my guitar to Tennessee, for one. It's still in a storage unit in California, and I'm not going to California until after the holiday season ends at Dollywood, which we have 1 month left. We're at the tail end of Smoky Mountain Christmas. All we have to do is just get through December, and we are going to shut down for 8 weeks, and we're going to have plenty of time to focus on football and just relaxing and taking a trip back home to get our stuff. And so it's been a great season out there. And oh boy, Tennessee cold weather is nothing to joke at. A lot of people on my team, and this is true, they're like, what's California weather like? I'm like, California weather is nice. And they're like, wait till you experience Tennessee. And this was when we first moved out here. They're like, it's going to be cold. You're going to need your coats, your gloves, your hats, your everything. And I'm like, okay. And I thought the storms were bad. And they're like, nope, it gets down. We got down to 27 degrees. And I know Pop is thinking, come on, I've lived in Minnesota. I know what it's like. And he's happy to be down in Florida where it's 70 degrees all the time. But I tell you, it has gotten cold. We finally had some ice on the car a few days ago. That was pretty cool. And yes, we have portable heaters, but sometimes they just don't do it. And we're standing there, we've got our coats on, and I looked over at my senior lead. He's like, I told you, welcome to East Tennessee. It's nothing compared to California. And I'm like, you're right. I'm loving it.
Yeah, I remember the one Christmas in Missouri and having it snow, and me and Pop being out there shoveling the snow and everything. So
yep,
I can only imagine what you're going through.
I'm hoping that we will get some snow, but because of where the elevation in Pigeon Forge and Sevierville, it's not high enough in the Smoky Mountains to get it. It could snow, but it's not a reality. You got to go further where Mama is in the east, in Mount Joliet, Nashville area, and further. That's where you'll get the snow. So we'll see what happens. Do I want a white Christmas? Absolutely. Will I get it? Who knows? But if I do, I'm gonna love it. All right, let's continue on. Let's talk about the Pick'em contest, and we continue again with the champion of Week 12, and that's hey Tim, how's it going? Pop is the winner this week. He's now won 4 out of the last 5. Pop wins with 10 correct picks this week. JP and Dory tied with 9 for second place. Emmanuel took 8. Tammy, JJ, Nathan, Jeff, and Heather each got 7. Daniel got 6. My scheduler friend Mike got 5. Will did not get any picks because he didn't make any. He was busy this week. and he let the week go by. So sadly, I had to give him a 0. I couldn't give him any points on that. How does that affect the overall standings? JP is now the overall leader at 111. Heather has 109. Pop is at 108. Jeff and Emmanuel are tied with 106. Dory has 104. Tammy and Daniel are tied at 102. Nathan has 99. Renegade has 98. My buddy Mike at work is 95. And Will is 94. Hello, Snowflakes. Hello, Snowflakes. Okay, Cody. The Rams are sus. What does that mean, Tim? You want to elaborate on that a little bit? Winter in the snow leaves great memories. Thank you, Pop. So good old JP is in the lead for week 12. Remember, we continue all the way through week 18. That person becomes the regular season champ. We do the brackets for the playoffs. You keep making your picks. We'll have a playoff winner, and then we'll have an overall player to win the whole thing. And the way Pop is playing, he is now 3rd place overall. Don't sleep on Pop because he will sneak up behind you. He knows.
Go Pop. I hope you take it.
We're calling him Jerry the Greek now. How about that? Because he's just picking one right after the other. And if he don't win it, wow, that's just amazing in itself. Go, Pop, go. Go, Pop, go. All right, let's quickly go into the rankings for hockey. Again, Cody, well, Cody, we do have a champion, Zach. So perhaps we could set up Cody versus Zach, and maybe let's shoot for, let's see, we're in week 13 now. Let's shoot for week 14. We'll go Cody versus Zach week 14, okay? How about that? Tim doesn't see the Rams making the playoffs. Like I say, if the Rams just totally tank out, it could happen. Oh, sorry, Zach. My bad. Well, it says Cody on your screen name, so I apologize for that. I'm going by what I'm seeing on the screen, so maybe change your screen name on YouTube there, Zach. Zach is our unofficial champion because I have not made him champion yet. Maybe for season 3, I will declare him champion, or we'll do the preseason. We don't know what we're going to do with that yet. But I will say it now. He is the unofficial champion, the uncrowned champion, as you will, because one, he's beaten me twice, and I didn't go over the week that Jeff took on Zach. I didn't get the results of that one. I apologize for that. I'll have to go back into the week. So if anybody wants to challenge him, give us a drop line, and we'll take care of that. All right, the standings and rankings in hockey, because the Ducks are getting ready to face the Kings tonight. Freeway Series, round 1, big rivalry. The bottom of the barrel is not Arizona this week. It's actually Ottawa, the Senators. They only have 9 points. The Coyotes are tied with the Islanders. They each have 12 points, but the Islanders have a better record. The Islanders are 5-10-2. The Coyotes are 5-15-2. So, yes, Arizona is at the bottom, but not the total bottom. They're maybe coming their way back up. The next team is the Montreal Canadiens. They have a solid 14 points, followed by Vancouver and Chicago. They are both tied with 16. Chicago's record is 7-12-2. Vancouver's record is 7-14-2. Next, the Kraken. They have 17 points. They are by themselves, followed by the Sabres at 19 points, and the Flyers at 20 points, and the Kings at 21 points. So it's Kings, Flyers, Sabres, Kraken, Blackhawks in that order from top to bottom. Kings
are above the Blackhawks. You know how much trouble they gave us back during those playoff runs.
Oh, yeah. That is very true. The next teams all have 22 points. The Devils, the Stars, and the Bruins. The Devils are at 9-6-4. The Stars are 10-7-2. The Bruins are 11-7-0. They are all three tied at 22, so when the tiebreaker goes to the records. The Red Wings are tied with the Sharks, the Predators, and the Avalanche. They all have 23 points. The records for them, the Red Wings are 10-9-3. San Jose and Nashville are 11-9-1. Nashville has a 3-goal lead. The tiebreaker, if two teams are having the same record, are goals scored. So Nashville has 58 goals. The Sharks have 55. Colorado has the best record out of all of them at 11-6-1. The next teams all have 24 points. That's the Jets, the Golden Knights, and the Blue Jackets. The Jets are 10-8-4. The Knights are 12-9-0, and the Blue Jackets are 12-7-0. The next three teams are the Ducks, the Penguins, and the Blues. They all have 25 points. The Ducks are 11-8-3. The Penguins are 11-7-5, and the Blues are 11-7-3. The defending champion Lightning, they're in their own. They're at 27 points. The Rangers and the Wild are tied at 29 points. The Wild have the better record at 14-6-1. The Rangers are 13-4-3. The Oilers are all by themselves at 30 points. Calgary, the Flames, the Panthers, and the Hurricanes are all tied at 31. Florida is not the number one team this week. Something must have happened down in Florida. I don't know what's going on down there. The Flames are 13-4-5. The Panthers are 14-4-3. And the Hurricanes are 15-4-1. The top two teams both have 33 points, but one team has a better record than the other. The number two team are the Capitals with 33 points, 14-3-5. That only leaves one team left. Your new number one team, I believe we are in week 5 of the NHL, and that's the Toronto Maple Leafs. 33 points, 16-6-1. Good job for them to finally dethrone the Panthers. There's a shocker. I saw that one.
The Maple Leafs have been playing like garbage the last few years, so the fact they're on top, granted it's still early on, but I know our good buddy Lisa is happy about that as a Maple Leafs fan.
There you go. Everything's better in Toronto. All right, let's finish up with our NFL rankings. Again, no graphics. Sorry, I'm just going to have to go off what I've got. No surprise, Detroit's in the bottom again, 0-10-1. It's looking like they're just going to play through the season. Remember, the team with the worst ranking gets the number one draft pick next season. So they want to, if they really want that bad of a number one spot, you know, they can win a game. Let's just hope it's not against the Vikings this week. Because I do not want an upset roommate.
Oh, no.
No. But the rivalry back home between roommates was a lot of fun to watch when the Vikings played the Lions.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure that if they lost to the Lions, she would be making a trip out here to track him down. Just on general principle.
Woo! How about that? Jacksonville and Houston are tied at 2-9. Houston's got more points, so they get the higher ranking. The Seahawks and the Jets are 3-8. The Giants and the Bears are 4-7. The Bears. The Eagles, the Panthers, and the Dolphins are all 5-7. Place is out. The Vikings, the Saints, the Falcons, and the football team are all 5-6. Of course, Minnesota's got tons of points, so they stay up alive up there. They're they would be in the left side of the column. I believe at that point. Of course, Pittsburgh 5-5-1. They still have that tie that gives them a slight edge. The Colts are all by themselves at 6-6. The 49ers, the Chargers, the Raiders, and the Broncos are all 6-5. The AFC champion Chiefs, they are 7-4, tied with the Rams and the Bengals and the Cowboys and the Bills. The Cowboys, of course, dropped. This is, I think, their lowest in the top 10 this week. But again, they should just bounce right back. Yes, I feel that Tim Davis says, I feel like the Packers are in the hunt to be the representative of the NFC in the Super Bowl this year. Hey, the Packers, the way they're playing, it's not a bad prediction, not at all. But it would be a pretty good NFC matchup to have the top two. As much as I want to see Dallas, go all the way, and I even said this in the beginning of the season. Yes, I jumped on the Dallas bandwagon. I'm not denying it. I'm wholeheartedly saying it. If I can't have Dallas go all the way, Arizona versus Green Bay is the statistical matchup, the 1 and 2 teams. And if Green Bay can knock off Arizona and then go on to the Super Bowl, probably against Tampa Bay, the defending champions, that would be the matchup. That's what I would think. That'd be my backup plan. But absolutely with that. Let's see. So Dallas is lower this week because of the loss. The Bills are also 7-4. The Titans are 8-4. They are tied with the Patriots. Patriots have a higher ranking there. The Ravens and the Buccaneers are 8-3. Green Bay is 9-3. The number one team for pretty much all season is still the Arizona Cardinals. Nobody is going to knock them off anytime soon. Yep. I am forever the bandwagon hopper. I will admit it wholeheartedly. Tim wants the number one seed. It could happen. You never know. You never know what's going to happen in football. Anything can happen. Do we have another commercial set up, or do we just want to finish off the show?
We can do one more quick commercial before we go into your shout out.
Let's do it. We'll be right back to finish out the show right after this.
Take me down to the paradise city where the grass is green and the girls are pretty. Oh, won't you please take me home? Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games. Whoa, we shine the light. Yeah, they're loaded like a freight train, flying like an aeroplane. Speeding like a space brain, one more time tonight. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Welcome to the jungle. Watch it bring you to your knees. Take me down to the paradise city where the grass is green and the girls are pretty. Oh, won't you please take me home? I wanna go. I wanna know. Oh, won't you please take me home, baby?
Yes, your next two opportunities to check out Paradise Kitty locally will be Friday, December 17th at the Club Vamped in Vegas, or December 22nd at the Whiskey A Go-Go in Los Angeles. And everybody knows what a historical venue that is, the Whiskey A Go-Go. Got one more quick ad from one of the members of Paradise Kitty with her solo song, and we'll be right back for Stat Boy Shout Out.
Somebody turn on the lights. I'm slaying monsters tonight. Go get out of my sight. Oh, 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 go hide under your bed. No shadows in my head. I'm slaying monsters tonight. Oh,
And no joke with that one, after hearing the trailer on Jeff's shows plugging that one, I actually went, downloaded the full song. That's a kick-ass song. I highly recommend you guys look for Ariel's single Monsters and listen to the full-length version. It is a really kick-ass cut.
They are an amazing band, even from what I see in the previews and promos. And I actually now do regret not getting able to see them. They were out here, I believe, a month ago. Jeff was right. He told me, you need to get out there, and I just didn't get a chance to do it. But I know.
To be fair, they were part of a big old carnival thing, so you weren't gonna get the full experience on that type of event. It would be like going to Coachella or a Stagecoach and seeing them. you're going to want to try and catch them when they're like the headliner playing something a little bit more intimate, like the whiskey. So if they come out there again playing just a local Tennessee club or something, then definitely try to make the journey. But I don't think a festival like that is the place to see them for the first time. You want something a little bit more intimate.
Gotcha. All right. Our Stat Boy shout out for the week goes to a birthday boy in WWE. He turned 72 years old yesterday. It's Jerry Lawler. Happy birthday, King. Wow. What a great career. And there's a picture. This was the pipe bomb day that Jeff and JJ went to at, I think it was UNLV. We all went out to Vegas.
Mac Center.
Thomas Mac Center. I apologize. They got lucky. They got to meet good old King there. And he's celebrating his 72nd birthday. God bless you. Happy birthday, sir. We have met Jerry Lawler. We did actually meet him one time. We went it was the day we got tickets to Raw, and we were sitting front row. The first time ever we got to sit at Raw. We at least got to shake hands with JR and the King, so that kind of counts. And he's had one of the greatest careers ever. We got to see him, of course, on the Man on the Moon taping at the Grand Olympic Auditorium. We were 50 rows up or whatever at one point. We got down to the ringside area, and he was just hamming it up. We did the Jerry chant then. He is amazing. I would love to maybe, if I ever get out to Memphis, there are plenty of spots where he hangs out on his Instagram and on his Twitter. And if I could just get lucky and find him and just say, you know what, you've had one of the greatest careers ever. And I met you at Raw that one time ago, and I was in the audience with my brother filming Man on the Moon. I mean, and now
something you ought to try to do during your 2-month hiatus from Dollywood, if you can convince Dory or whoever to shuttle you around, is drive to the old Mid-South Coliseum and maybe shoot some footage of you talking around the Mid-South Coliseum that we can then throw into an episode of one of your Stat Boy Sports Bars episodes.
Hey, it's a possibility. You never know.
Or even see if you can get out to the old Nashville Fairgrounds where they filmed TNA in the early years, the weekly pay-per-views.
It's a possibility. You never know.
You've got so much history there in that state you're in. You ought to try and take advantage of it while you're out there.
Like I said, we've got plans to come home after the holidays settle down and whatnot. So it's a possibility. I mean, we have to drive through Tennessee to get to California unless we take a different route. So it's a possibility. But either way, Jerry Lawler, happy birthday. Stay healthy. Get back in the ring for one more match. You never know. I want to see more of the King. I don't want to see him just around Royal Rumble time or during the panels or whatever. I would love to have a good old-fashioned JR and King reunion, but JR is under contract to AEW now, so and everybody loved the King. He just loves to joke around, and he's a great artist and everything, and he's an amazing guy. So happy birthday. Stat Boy approved, goes out to Jerry Lawler. Good job. You got anything to say about Lawler that you want to throw in before we take off?
Nah, I actually kind of went off on a little bit of a diatribe about Lawler yesterday when me and Jeff were filming, doing our pre-tapes of Dads like we've been doing. We filmed the top 10 non-WrestleMania celebrity moments and the top 10 Jim Carrey movies. And both episodes had plenty of mentions to Jerry Lawler for the same incident, ironically. And if you know, you know. I mean, just think about it, and it should come to you if you know Lawler and Jim Carrey and Andy Kaufman. So
the slap heard round the world on Letterman. YouTube it, folks. It was one of the oddest, strangest moments for that man, for Jerry, for I think for Letterman. I mean, I think he was in on it, but I didn't really think he did a great acting job, or he did not know what was going to happen. And swearing on live TV is a big no-no, and especially back then.
Yeah,
So
he had no clue what was going on. He was clueless.
absolutely, absolutely. All right, friends, we are done with this week's episode. We'll be back again next week for week 13. Hopefully, Jeff will be better and back in the sports bar with us. Like I said, get better quick, Jeff. We love having you here, but also if you're not feeling good, rest up, take a break, slow down, and get back to work. That's all what it's all about. Follow me on
Exactly.
Twitter.
I was
Follow
just
me.
going to say real quick before you give out your Twitter handles and everything, so make sure for the rest of the week, yeah, I know Jeff would kill me if I didn't do this, but make sure you tune in tomorrow for his one-on-one with Sarah, and then the No DQ review on Thursday being simulcast here on the Jeff Meacham Network as well as on the No DQ YouTube channel. The Greg Cherry Show for a special day and time on Friday. Ignore the graphic there. Due to circumstances beyond Jeff's control, the show had to be switched from Wednesday to Friday this week. And then this weekend, he's got watch-alongs for NWA Hard Times 2 on Saturday and NXT War Games on Sunday, along with everything else coming up in December for the Jeff Meacham Network. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel for all of that.
Pick'em players, don't worry. Stats and matchups will be sent up in a little bit tonight. Those of you that are watching, again, thank you. We'll take care of that. Even though I did rattle them off, I still have to put them in the group page, which I will. Players, get your picks out again for Thursday night. Don't forget that. It's week 13. We'll see you all next week. Follow me on Twitter at LBStatKid1977. Leave me a tweet if you wish. Another thing I'm working on, of course, I'm sending out tweets to Mayor Glenn Jacobs. You best know him as Kane. I'm already 200 matches into his career, just about getting ready to we just finished up SummerSlam 2000 with Badass Undertaker, the American Badass Undertaker, and this was the first breakup of the Brothers of Destruction. Of course, we'll see where that goes. There's an upcoming tweet that's going to be sent out through the first 200 matches of Kane's career. The Big Show was the one that he faced the most at 25 times, and there were only two people that Mayor Jacobs, best known as Kane, beat 10 times or more, and that is Triple H and the Road Dogg. Those were the only two that he beat 10 plus or more wins. We'll see where else the book goes. So follow me on Twitter for that to keep an eye on what stats I throw out. There's a possibility that I could also start my first Diva book. A stat came out amongst Renegade and good old JM and I that Natalya has had 1,400 matches and leads the division in women matches. Now I don't know if that's televised matches or overall matches with house shows. If it's overall with house shows, it's going to be a lot harder to confirm, because with house shows you never can confirm unless you were there or people have footage. At least with the televised matches, there is a record of them somewhere. So keep an eye on that. Also follow the Stat Boy Rants Facebook page, my personal page, Facebook.com/ME Caldwell. That's me. Of course, I'll take all your messages and whatnot. And we will see you all next week. I love you all. Stat Boy out.